Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ademola Badmus. If this is your first time, please do not forget to like and subscribe. So in this video we are going to talk about, we don't need this anymore, so we are going to talk about installation of Selenium and every other thing that we need and why we need them. So I will quickly delete this then we can begin. So where we need to begin is actually from our terminal. Actually, we do not need to do anything else. So this is what I like to do. Anytime I want to install Selenium, I go into the the Python package installer pipi.org and check for the latest version of Selenium that is compatible with Python here. So as you can see, it's 4.72. So I'm going to show you two ways by which you can install Selenium. So one of it is just copying this command and getting into your terminal. Do not forget, we have a virtual environment where we want to install everything. So what we need to do is first activate our virtual environment, which is activated, and we can paste this here, and voila, it is installed, right? Or we can create a requirement.txt. I will create a requirement.txt and you see how it works. So I will just run the command again, even though it is done. But for now, I'm going to use this particular command and we are going to install Selenium. So this is going to give us all the Selenium packages that we need. Now, one thing that is worthy of notice, in the previous Selenium version, you would need to actually download a browser instance called a WebDriver. You need to download a WebDriver instance so you can be able to run your code, because as at then, what happens is that every browser provider will have to provide this WebDriver instance that emulates the actual browser, so you can actually run your tests on these browsers. But in the latest version of Selenium, a WebDriver manager has been created, so you don't essentially need to worry about downloading this version anymore. So it means that at every point in time, it is possible for Selenium to query and get the latest browser download and browser version of the WebDriver downloaded and use, and it will use it for your script. So we can equally go to the same pypi.org and type in WebDriver. Let's just type it this way. We don't even need to type it the right way it's supposed to be. Let's just type WebDriver manager and it brings it out. So that this is the one that we need, and all we just need to do is copy the same command and go to our code, copy the same command. We are still in our virtual environment, which is good. Then we install this and voila, the WebDriver manager has been installed. So I'm going to do something that looks like magic here. I'm supposed to create a requirement.txt file. Now, this is the answer to the question I raised earlier in the previous video, that if I'm not going to allow my virtual environment to go into the Git repository, then how would people be able to use my code, because they don't know what I've installed? They would be able to do it using the requirement.txt file. So I will create it and I would also show you how that is done, so that in the next video we can begin to do some basic automation in Python and Selenium. So what we need to do right now is to create the requirement.txt file. The requirement.txt file will contain the list of all libraries, all dependencies that would be required to run the code, because they need to be installed. So I can create it from here because I'd already installed some things here. So if I do a pip freeze, it will show you the list of things that have been installed. As you can see, it has shown us the list. So I can copy all this list. I can copy this content into a text file, and I can do that simply by typing that same pip freeze again, but this time you should copy it into a file for me called requirements. Now you can name this anything you want, but by convention it is called requirements.txt file. So just like I said earlier on, Python is loosely typed, but there are some conventions you need to follow. So you can name it anything you want, but it is better to follow convention if you are trying to adhere to best practices and call it requirements.txt file. So with this, we can create that file. As you can see, everything inside the folder has been inside the virtual environment has been created here. So now it is important to know that your PyCharm has its own interpreter, and the virtual environment is using an interpreter, and they actually don't really sync essentially. So it's advisable for you to install the requirements in your txt file and have it done. So while that is installing, so that your PyCharm can also have all of this, if you're using VS Code, you don't need to worry about that. You just need to point your Python interpreter on your VS Code to this virtual environment and you're good to go. So while that is being done, let me show you, now that we have created a requirement.txt file, let me show you how you can install from a requirement.txt file. All you just need to do is you type pip install with a flag R, like to read from the requirement.txt file, and you press enter. In this case, it will just say everything here has been I don't like to see notifications, so yes, just go. So install the plugin and let me move. So anyways, so once you do this with this particular command pip install -r requirements.txt file and then press enter, it will tell me all the requirements have been satisfied because I've installed it, but you can use that command to install. So what that means essentially is that once you push your code and your requirement.txt file is there, whoever picks your code can use that particular command, which you essentially might also add to your readme file in order to tell the person how to set up your code. So with that done, this brings us to the end of this video, and in the next video we are going to use what we've installed to open the page that I had shown you all along that we are going to automate. So you're just going to open that page, and we are going to probably perform some actions there. Thank you for getting this far. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye, and see you in the next video.